my kitchen a bit of a refresh by decorating a few spaces by just using thrifted finds, and then also by shopping my house and using what I already have. So in total, I only spent $11.50 in order to give my kitchen a refresh. So let's go ahead and jump in with all of the changes. So this is how my kitchen started out. As you can see, there's a lot of different things going on. I think I have kind of a farmhousey, modern cottage, vintage style to what I like. I don't know, it's kind of eclectic. I do like wood tones. I love black and white. I love neutrals. I also love adding some green and blue for color. So anyways, one of the things that I started doing was just taking everything down off of the walls that I didn't want anymore, which was basically almost everything except for one item. And I even took down the curtains. These curtains were actually in my son's bedroom for a good while, and I put them up here in the kitchen, but I was just kind of over the brown. I wanted something that was a little brighter and just kind of happier in this space. And so I decided to use my old shower curtain. This had been in my bathroom for probably 5 years. And then when I painted in there in a whole nother video, which I will link below if you haven't seen it, I ended up changing out my shower curtain because it was a different shade of blue on the walls. And this just really didn't go. But I kept the shower curtain because I felt like this would be really cute here in the kitchen. I just needed to cut it up and sew up and hem up the bottoms. But I really like the little tassels on here. I kind of think it has like a vintagey feel with that. So I'm going to go ahead and get these curtains all trimmed up and sewn and put them up in the kitchen. The next spot that I wanted to change up was above my kitchen sink window. So I had done this thankful sign when we first moved in, I believe, shortly after we had moved in. I just attached it with some command hooks. So as you can see, it had the old paint color on it, and I needed to paint over that. But I decided to take that sign down. I was just kind of over the black and white. I wanted something different. So I really love baskets on the walls. And I already had these two that I had picked up for 25 cents each. And then I've also just been looking around for some other baskets. And I just got all of my baskets together. And a couple of them I already had. The one in the middle was $1.99. So I just used what I had and then spent $2.50 on baskets and just kind of figured out how I wanted them. And then I just kind of played with putting them up here on the wall, and you'll see me kind of readjusting them. And I ended up even changing it even further. So you'll see that when I show the final reveal. But I love a basket wall, and I just thought it would be so fun to have that above the kitchen sink and just add some texture here in the kitchen. I do want to add a couple of smaller baskets where there's kind of some gaps. And so I will be on the lookout for those. But for now, this is what it is looking like. The next space that I wanted to change up is this wall above our kitchen island. It's always been a little tricky to me, but I was kind of over just the clutter of all the different colored coffee mugs, and I'm the only one who drinks out of them anyways, so we really don't need them on the wall. So I put them all in the cupboard, and then I took this peg rack down, and I'm actually going to use it in my son's room for his hats. And I knew that I wanted something else in here. I wanted a shelf that was wide enough to put my plants on, but I also wanted a peg rail underneath of it. And so I looked online. They were all over $40 to $50 for good sturdy ones. And so what I decided was to get a shelf separately and then a peg grill separately. The shelf I found for $6 at Goodwill, and the peg grill I actually found on Facebook Marketplace for $3. And I thought that that was a really good deal. I had to assemble it and everything, but it turned out just exactly what I wanted. You'll see at the end here, but it was a little bit long. So I did have to kind of, after I put the peg grills in, I had to measure so that it would fit inside the shelf brackets and cut those off. So it only has 4 pegs instead of 6 pegs in the end, but that's okay. It's definitely what I was wanting, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I stained the peg rail with my Bry Wax that I used in my kitchen cabinets as well. And in hindsight, I probably should have done this before I put the pegs in, but you know, you live and you learn. And then I also ended up sanding the shelf because it had kind of a red tint to it, and it really did not match the peg rail at all. They were so very different. So I ended up sanding that down and then staining the shelf with my Bry Wax as well. And that really did help them kind of look more like one piece, and it didn't look so different. So I'm glad that I sanded the shelf down, and altogether it did turn out really well. Okay, so now comes the fun part, which is decorating this shelf and this peg rack. And I went ahead and just gathered up different items for my home, things that I had already been thinking about that I wanted to add to this space. And then I just started adding them, and I really love how it turned out. I wanted to put some plants over here on the shelf because it does get some sunlight from my back doors, and then also from the kitchen window. So anyways, I really love all of the things that I ended up adding to the shelf. I'm sure it will change over time and through the different seasons, which will be fun to decorate. This cutting board is really special. My brother made it from my grandparents' old butcher block that was in their kitchen, and that actually came from the store that they owned and that they worked at for a few years. And so that was just really special to have that cutting board made from their butcher block. And so I'm just hanging it up. I'm not using it for anything, actually functional. It's just decor. This tea towel came from Miss Ann. She's been a faithful follower for years now, and so I decided to add that up here for decor as well. But the shredder and the drainer I use on a regular basis. So this peg rail is also functional as well as beautiful. I really love how the shelf goes well with the rest of the kitchen now, and I think it looks a little more cohesive compared to what it looked like before. And I've been wanting to decorate this kitchen for a while, and I've changed a few things. Like over here on the stove, I had put this print up probably last year, and I changed out the paper towel holder. And then I also added this rug underneath of the kitchen sink. And so all of that kind of just helped spur on the changes that I wanted to make in here. And there's still a few things I'd like to kind of change up the kitchen island, maybe adding some beadboard and painting. But for now, I'm really loving the change in the decor, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it as well. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.